Welcome, everyone, to CK Podcast 311 with Josh Envyerz. He's a special guest today. You guys can check out his YouTube channel. The link is inside the description. He's definitely a big-time Spurs guy. We'll be going over the Monday game, the game tomorrow night in San Antonio, and we'll also be discussing the top 5 teams in the NBA in the Western Conference because – to me, this is the most loaded conference in NBA history, in my opinion. But before we get into all these topics, introduce yourself, Josh. Thank you so much for being on the show today, baby.
Yeah, no problem. My name is Josh Envyerz. Have a YouTube channel. It's Envyerz. Cover the NBA, play 2K, etc. So if you're interested in any of that, feel free to check it out. I know we're going to have a video up on my channel surrounding the Sacramento Kings. So you guys are Kings fans. You should love that.
That's right. So let's talk about the Spurs. Before we bring up all the mega teams, super teams that were created this past offseason, do you feel that the Spurs made the necessary changes to compete with these super teams?
To be totally honest, no. I think Kawhi Leonard is definitely going to have to carry this team a lot. And that's probably one of the main reasons why he's going to be a potential MVP candidate, because this team doesn't look that nice, but it's the Spurs. You can never count the Spurs out. They're a good, well-organized, oiled machine, I guess. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Spurs do this season.
Is there a particular player that you're excited about aside from Kawhi Leonard? Pretty much a second fiddle that can play alongside him and be a reliable option?
I'm assuming DeJounte Murray is going to be starting until Tony Parker gets healthy, which is probably like December or somewhere past that. So hopefully he's able to ball out. Another player I hopefully want to see more get PT is Bertans. This man, whenever I watch him play, he just drains threes. So probably won't be as effective as Murray will, but hopefully he gets some more PT this season.
Definitely Bertans. I love his game. I started watching him last year, started paying attention to him. He's a nice physical specimen, and he can actually shoot the rock. I watched him play in Summer League as well. He was definitely doing a lot of that. DeJounte Murray as well. I like his game. I thought he was a steal for you guys last season. But what can you tell me about LaMarcus Aldridge? And is it, we always hear these rumors that he's not happy within the organization. He was promised certain things, and they're not up to it. Blah blah blah. What can you tell me about LaMarcus? And should we expect a big season from him this year? Because I feel like they're going to end up trading him.
You feel like they're going to trade him this season, or like sometime in the
like
offseason?
By the deadline.
Oof, I don't know, man. A lot of people, like in San Antonio and then the Spurs fans, dislike LaMarcus Aldridge. I see no problem with him. The only problem I do see with him is when they're going against smaller power forwards like the Golden State Warriors with Draymond Green. He should be attacking those guys, but sometimes it doesn't seem like he is. But I have no problem with LaMarcus Aldridge as a player. I hope that he'd be able to fit with the Spurs long term, but if he doesn't, I guess that's always an option to see what the Spurs are able to get for him. I don't see him being traded this season, though. That's for sure. Maybe in the offseason, if anything.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, but have you been disappointed with his past 2 years, or are you okay with them?
He's not Blazers LaMarcus Aldridge, and that's, I guess, simply for the fact that he has a better team than what he had with the Blazers.
Okay.
So it's also the Spurs, and apparently certain players, like I believe it was Robert Horry, right, saying that you have to dumb down your game to play with the Spurs. You have to do certain sets. So maybe if that's true, what Robert Horry said, maybe he's getting used to that. So we'll see.
From a person looking from the outside looking in, what do you see from this Kings team, and should Kings fans be excited about this season?
This season? I don't know. Should they be excited this season? They should be excited for the future with all the young guys on the squad. But
in terms of and in terms of watching their their young core develop, not in terms of wins, because obviously the Western Conference this season is the most loaded that we've ever seen, right?
Yeah, I feel like the projection for the Kings last year was the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns were this young team that was exciting to watch, and I feel like the Kings this year could be the same thing. With Tyler Eulis stepping up for the Suns, I feel like maybe a guy like Frank Mason could be that said Tyler Eulis player. So it'll be definitely interesting to see what the Kings do. They got a nice mixture of veterans and young guys, so we'll see.
Talking about that mixture, you brought that up in your NBA previews for every single team. I thought it was a really good video. You had a lot of engagement on it. Talk about that video, and do you take back anything that you said, or are you just you stand by it pretty much?
What did I have them? I think I had them
26th.
26th.
Yeah.
Definitely the Knicks are a worse team in my opinion than them after the Carmelo Anthony trade.
Mm-hmm.
So I see them improving with all the trades, because when I was doing the NBA preview, like I said, a bunch of trades were happening. Kyrie Irving got traded in the middle of it, so I had to make the Celtics one really quickly, and then Carmelo Anthony got traded. So it's not exactly where I project them now. I see them improving at least a few more wins this season, but not by much. And it's a rebuild, really. I think they don't have their 2019 draft pick. So
yeah, correct.
If this is the time to rebuild, you got to do it now, because you don't have your next year's draft pick. So
yeah, so they have next season's draft pick, but not 2019. Yeah, and I've been a huge advocate of this year. They should lose games. That way they have at least a top 5 pick next year. You got Luka Doncic coming out, Porter Jr., Beasley from Duke. So definitely it's going to be a top talent heavy draft next year again. This year I thought it was really deep, even 1 through 30. In reality, to me, there's a lot of good players. You got your Kuzmas, who I think is going to be a steal for the Lakers. And even a guy like Frank Mason, who went number 33, 34 in the second round. Again, I thought this draft was loaded. What do you like about De'Aaron Fox, and is there a comparison that you see in him as far as a current NBA player?
I mean, everyone always compares him to John Wall, right? Is that what you hear too?
Yeah, I mean, John Wall, Mike Conley.
So I guess I haven't really watched them play, other than the fact that in Kentucky, I didn't watch the Spurs and Kings first preseason game, but I know the Kings won by 6. So if he's able to play like he was playing in Kentucky and elevate it to the NBA level, I like De'Aaron Fox, and hopefully he's able to be in the contention for Rookie of the Year.
Do you believe he'll win Rookie of the Year?
If he gets minutes, because I know they signed George Hill. He's there for like 3 years. I'm not sure how well that's going to work out, but maybe somehow they could play De'Aaron Fox and George Hill. I know George Hill could probably slide over to the 2, so hopefully it's not that big of a problem. And obviously they could always trade a player to get Fox more minutes. So we'll see.
So if he had to choose a Rookie of the Year this year, who would it be?
That's a tough one. Are you talking about this draft, or obviously last year as well, with Ben Simmons being technically a rookie?
Just your overall Rookie of the Year.
That's a good question. Favorite right now, simply for the fact Joel Embiid was a favorite last year as well. Technically a rookie last year. Ben Simmons is my favorite to win Rookie of the Year, followed by guys like Lonzo Ball, Dennis Smith Jr., and De'Aaron Fox. I think one of the point guards is most likely going to be getting it, if not Ben Simmons. So, what about you?
Before I give you my list, what do you like about Ben Simmons?
Were you watching in Summer League? He had like 4 minutes, right? 4 minutes. Oh no, preseason. My bad. 4 minutes.
Yeah,
and he
last
averaged
night.
Like 4.
Yeah, he played. He had.
Yeah, it was something crazy.
6 points, 9 assists, and 7 rebounds.
Yeah, he's essentially a comparison. Can be a Giannis type player, a point forward that helps his team win games. So if that core of Philadelphia can stay healthy with Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid, definitely you want to talk about Ben Simmons with the Rookie of the Year contention.
Absolutely. I love what I saw from Ben Simmons last night. We all know that he struggles with his jump shot, but even with even without that jump shot, I still believe that he can be so effective, right? Even
Yeah.
Giannis last year came into his own. He started to hit that mid range, and now this year I expect Giannis to develop that 3-point shot. And once he develops a 3-point shot, I think it's his league. Would you
Yeah,
agree with that?
for sure. He's definitely going to be MVP once he could drain threes more efficiently.
So going back to who I believe will win Rookie of the Year, I agree. I think Ben Simmons, having an entire year to watch other guys play, it's a huge advantage for him. Not really being a true rookie in the sense that it's not really his first year, but definitely Lonzo Ball. He's going to get a lot of playing time, which is why I think he's absolutely up there. But if De'Aaron Fox plays the way he did and hits that jump shot like he did against the Spurs on Monday, I know it's one preseason game, but if he hits that consistently, he's going to be Rookie of the Year hands down. I mean, even right now, what he does well, other guys don't do, and he's just so fast. When they say he's fast, and then you would watch him on tape at Kentucky, and then I finally had a chance to watch him in person at Summer League. He is faster than advertised. Like he is a blur. He's a hound on defense, and anytime he goes downhill on offense, it's hard to stop the guy. He can finish with both hands, and again, if he hits that mid-range shot, because teams are going to play off of him, right? Because they don't trust that he can hit that shot. But if he hits that shot, to me, he's definitely going to play a lot of minutes because that's going to earn Dave Yeager's trust. And I do feel like George Hill will slide to the 2, even though you still have Buddy Hield and Bogdanovich there. But I just feel like he's going to be just an unstoppable player because the fact that I can't name many two-way point guards that are that good on offense and that good on defense. The first guy that comes to mind to me is Chris Paul. But I just want to hear your thoughts on that.
About becoming like
I mean,
a two-way player?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I can see him being that. Like I said earlier, everyone compares him to John Wall, and I think that's really the closest match you can get to him because he doesn't necessarily have a jump shot just yet. But John Wall didn't have a jump shot really coming into the league, and now he's kind of forming his own. So this is going to be his rookie year. So definitely it's going to take time to get a consistent jump shot. But once he does, like Giannis and like Ben Simmons, then it's going to be scary to watch.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the top 5 teams in the NBA in the West. We'll go West first. Give me your top 5 and tell me why you have them positioned that certain spot.
Warriors, number 1, right? There's no really debate here.
We
got Curry, Thompson, Durant, Draymond Green looking to go back to the NBA Finals this season, most likely, unless injury or something like that happens. Second team, this is a tough one because you could really flip a lot of these teams. San Antonio, the Rockets, the Thunder. But at this point, I'd put the Rockets at number 2 in front of San Antonio, in front of the Thunder.
Me too.
Got Chris Paul. I mean, they were the third. I think they were like the 3rd best team in the NBA last season. So they got better, which is kind of scary. Chris Paul, James Harden. Hopefully that backcourt works out together. Number 3. I want to say the Spurs, just for the simple fact that they're a great organization. They have Kawhi Leonard, and I think Kawhi Leonard can carry them just like he did last season. So at number 3, the San Antonio Spurs. At number 4, the Oklahoma City Thunder. They got PG. They got Carmelo Anthony. That team looks pretty nice. Most likely, I don't see the Spurs really. I don't know. The Spurs are a weird team considering a lot of the Western Conference teams got better, as you know. And the Spurs didn't really do much. They're really depending on Kawhi Leonard. But as of right now, since it's their first year together, I'd put the Thunder at the 4th seed in the Western Conference. And at the 5th seed, haven't really gave this one much thought, but let me see. That's a good question. I'm looking. Oh, the Wolves, the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
I was looking at this chart right here, and I was like, what team is 5th? But yeah, the Wolves definitely are climbing up this year. 31 wins last season. Probably going to get 40+ wins this season. Andrew Wiggins, Jimmy Butler. I'm not sure how I feel about Jeff Teague, but he's a better shooter than Ricky Rubio, so that's always a positive. Karl Anthony Towns, he's an instant double machine. So there's my top 5.
So you got Warriors, Rockets,
Spurs. Spurs are 3.
Okay, Spurs.
Thunder at 4. Yeah.
And then the Wolves.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. That's pretty, I think that's identical to mine. So I have the Warriors, I have the Rockets, I have the Spurs, the Thunder, and the Wolves at 5. It's actually identical. I actually had this conversation with one of my colleagues, and his was flipped. He had the Wolves at number 2, which I think is ludicrous.
Yeah, that's kind of high right there.
Yeah, I mean, they beat the Warriors last night. Obviously, it was preseason. I watched the entire game. The starters played consistently in the first half. They played for the majority of the third quarter, but then after that, they sat out. And what I really liked and enjoyed from the T-Wolves is that they can actually match up with the Warriors. And I say it in a way that if Andrew Wiggins can consistently hit his 3-point jump shot like he was last night when Kevin Durant was guarding him, they're going to be a very dangerous team, and they're going to give the Warriors a run for their money. Maybe not beat them this year in the series, but definitely next season and the following year. That's a young, scary team. And I think this year they'll get a taste of the playoffs and, taste a little bit of success, and obviously lose against either the Rockets or the Warriors in that second round.
You think they're going second round?
Yeah, I mean, if they finish 5th, right?
Yeah.
Then they're gonna have to face the Thunder or the Spurs. And it's just like if they were in the East, they would definitely
be a whole lot easier for them.
But my God, you're right. I mean, they might even make it to the second round, knowing that you got the Rockets. I mean, the only way they can make the second round in the West is if they finish top 3 and they face the 6th team, right? Which would be Memphis, the Clippers, the Nuggets.
Memphis? 6th team?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just giving you teams like Memphis, the Nuggets, the Clippers.
It really kind of falls off after the top 5 in the Western Conference. Like it's anybody's game for the remainder of the seeds.
You have New Orleans, so you have about 5 teams that would compete for 6, 7, and 8. And again, whoever gets top 3 in the West, I feel like will have a nice advantage over whoever's 6, 7, and 8. Would you agree?
I agree with you right there.
So there it is. If the T-Wolves finish top 3, they'll make the second round, right?
Yeah. If they finish 4 or 5, that's not a good look.
That's not a good look because they're going to either face the Spurs, the Rockets, or the Thunder. Mm-hmm. But what do you like about the Thunder? I mean, they have 3 ball stoppers on that team. Is there enough balls, no pun intended, for all 3 guys?
I think they could work. They got a big man in Steven Adams. He's going to be getting on the boards.
Okay.
If for some odd reason Carmelo or Paul George clink, he's there in the middle. Andre Roberson brings the defense. He doesn't bring any offense, but that's not why he's out there. It's going to be the first year, so it's going to be interesting to watch. It's probably not going to click all at once, like they've been saying, but it's going to be a scary team come playoff time. And if Paul George stays, depending on how far they get in the playoffs, I could say I want to see this team win a championship because this team on paper looks really nice. It's a solid starting 5, probably one of the better overall starting 5s in the Western Conference. So
on paper.
Yeah, on paper.
Okay. So, giving your top 5 teams in the East.
Top 5 teams in the East. Let me see. Boston Celtics
Wow,
at,
number
at the
one.
first seed. Yep, they were the first seed last season, so I got to give it to them this season as well.
But
Cleveland
they're
Cavaliers right behind them.
okay.
Third seed in the Eastern Conference. See, it kind of sucks that the Eastern Conference it falls off after 2 teams, and then in the Western Conference it falls off after 5 teams. So I'd give the third seed in the Eastern Conference to the Toronto Raptors.
Okay.
They have a solid core. They signed Serge Ibaka. Their bench is kind of iffy. A lot of the young guys are going to have to step up, but hopefully they're able to do that. They've been consistent and a good regular season team for the past few years now. Hasn't really amounted to anything really in playoffs, but amazing regular season team. And then another amazing regular season team right behind them is the Washington Wizards, who I see being the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. They didn't add anybody really in the
Nope.
offseason. So if they were able to do that, I know they signed Otto Porter to max. If
Yep.
they were able to sign that one guy, I could easily see them being a 3rd seed. But the Raptors and Wizards, you could really flip them in and out because they're probably going to be around the same win-loss record this season like they were last year. So that was the 4th seed. 5th seed,
The Bucks.
the Bucks. Yeah, I was going to say Charlotte, but yeah, definitely the Bucks. Bucks have Giannis. They might actually be higher than the 5th seed, to be totally honest. If everything clicks, if Jabari Parker stays healthy, if Don Maker has a nice season, this team could be 3rd. But I
I
don't want
agree.
to put them that high just yet because they're an unproven team. But definitely in the future, the Bucks team are going to be a scary squad to play against. So that was my top 5: Celtics, Cavs, Raptors, Wizards, and Bucks.
Would you sneak the Sixers top 6?
I put the Hornets above them. even with Nick Batum probably out for the season, it sucks, but I think the Hornets are a better team right now than the Sixers.
Okay, so I have the Cavs at number 1, and I think it's them and everybody is like no one close to them. And I say
Not the
because
Celtics?
no, I mean the Celtics last year were the number 1 seed, but they have a completely different roster, and we don't know if it's going to click right away. Obviously having Kyrie Irving now, Gordon Hayward, they lost their heart and soul, you know, and their shooting guard that went to the Pistons, Avery Bradley, and then they obviously lost their top scorer in Isaiah, which can be replaced by Kyrie. But then you lose Jay Crowder, a very good two-way player. So
Just like the Raptors, they're kind of trusting their young guys this season.
yeah, and that's what I'm
It's
saying.
fair to see.
So their bench is super young. You know, you have 7-11, you have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, which we don't know what type of players they are yet on paper and on projections. Sure, they'll be good, but we don't know, and that's a huge unknown. Just like the Bucks, you know, it's a big if Jabari Parker stays healthy, and if Giannis can elevate these guys once again, because he didn't have much help last year during the playoffs. I felt like when Jabari got injured, Chris Middleton came back, but then, you know, they lost one guy. My big thing with the Bucks is, can both of these guys stay healthy, in Chris Middleton and Jabari Parker? Because if they can, that's a scary team. Because those 3 guys plus a rookie of the year and Brogdon, that's a very nice nucleus, right? So I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go with the Bucks at number 2.
Number 2, wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Above the
Cavs.
Celtics?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Cavs, Bucks. I'm gonna go Wizards at 3.
Ooh, where's the
Celtics,
Celtics?
Celtics at 4, and the
Okay.
Raptors at 5.
Okay, that's interesting.
I mean, I can't put the Celtics there yet, number 2, but and I say in terms of playing together, the Bucks play together, and now it's a matter of these guys staying healthy. I think to have the right head coach in place, and Jason Kidd, he's definitely a player's coach. And again, if they can stay healthy, which is a big if, That's a very long, athletic, defensive, scary team, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think we covered most of the bases. Once again, before we end this podcast, man, tell people about your channel, for the people that are joining right now, and for the people that will be listening to this on iTunes, Spotify, etc. Tell them about you and plug in your social media.
All right. What's up? My name is Josh, Envyerz. Call me whichever. I post NBA 2K content on my channel, talk about the NBA as well. I draw these very artistic art styles of player models, put them in videos. I feel like that's what catches a lot of people's eyes, and that's what people come to my channel for. So if you like artistic stylized videos, if you like NBA, if you like 2K, come through, check out the channel. Like I said in the beginning as well, we're gonna be collabing on my channel, talking about the Sacramento Kings. Hopefully, we'll have that out as soon as possible. So appreciate it if you do come.
Perfect. There it is, guys. Again, thank you so much to Josh for spending some time with us on the CK podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And don't forget that this episode is sponsored by Valley Tire Center. They're having a great rebate on Cooper tires right now. If you buy a select 4, you can potentially get up to $100 back. Tell them that you heard about them on the Cowbell Kingdom podcast. Ask for Brett Pedroia. He's going to hook you guys up. That's all you got to say. Hey, we heard about you guys on the CK podcast. Again, we thank Valley Tire Center for believing in us, and I want you guys to believe in them. On behalf of the entire CK team, peace.
See ya.